Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining our webinar today on our new AI assistant. I'm Bruno Wesley, team leader at DoorLoop, and I'll be your host for the day. I grew up in Brazil, worked in student housing for many years, and have been at DoorLoop since the very beginning as one of the first 10 people here. As an AI product expert, I'm extremely excited to show off some of DoorLoop's latest AI assistant features and give you some general tips and tricks for completely transforming and automating your business. For those of you not using DoorLoop, we will also share some of the best practices you can apply as well. Our support team is also in this chat, so please feel free to ask them any questions throughout the webinar. I will also answer questions live at the very end. All right, without further ado, I'm excited to be one of the first to review DoorLoop's new AI assistant. All right, everybody, welcome into DoorLoop. Before we dive into the DoorLoop AI assistant features, I want to give you a quick tour for us to settle ourselves and set our bearings, and then we'll go into the AI assistant. So the first thing that you'll see when you log into DoorLoop is you're greeted by this beautiful dashboard. And the dashboard is going to help you keep track of pretty much the most important things for you. For example, someone who's mainly handling maintenance requests, they might want to put the recent tenant requests and the tasks right up top, front and center. Versus someone else who might be dealing with outstanding balances and dealing with rent collection, they want to put the recent payments received on one side and the outstanding balances on the other, right? Maybe the good and the naughty list. But overall, this DoorLoop dashboard will be fully customizable to you and your additional users. Say you have a maintenance guy on the run, this will also be available for them on their mobile app. On the left-hand side here, we've got our main menu, highlighting, of course, our new AI assistant, which we'll talk about in a second, and pretty much everything else that you will need here at DoorLoop. Without any further ado, let's jump in to our new AI assistant. So I want to start off with the AI assistant itself. This is going to be huge for all of you who are dealing with a lot of things at the same time, right? When I worked in property management, it was hard to know, what should I focus on today? What should be top of my list on my to-do? And what's great about this is this will outline that for you. It'll pretty much take everything that's going on in your system and highlight that. So for example, we've got some quick answers here, which we'll use. Highlight today's priorities. We'll send it over to the AI, and the AI will quickly look through your entire DoorLoop system and bring forward the most important items for you to focus on today. Beautiful. So as it picks up here the most important items for me today, it'll go through, hey, these are my tasks for this. What are the leases with outstanding balances? What are the open maintenance work orders? All of these things will come from just a click of a button, and the AI will read through your software and tell you exactly what you should do here with a quick little summary. It's great. Really easy for you to see. And what I love about this is actually really what you make of it. I had a customer just a couple days back ask me, hey, can we ask other things outside of just what's going on in the DoorLoop system? And the answer is yes. They asked me, hey, what is a late fee policy in California? So now what's going to do, it's going to scour the web so you don't have to do it yourself. And it's going to tell you, hey, courts often consider late fees of about 5% reasonable. And so although, of course, this is not like a legal advisor, it will tell you where most of the resources online, where they're headed. And so it's just a really good best practice, and it's meant to be an assistant to you. Let you, think of things and help you do things throughout DoorLoop. So for example, I want to summarize the property performance. And this was another question that I asked back a couple of days, right? Hey, this is our total income, total expenses for this month. It will really read through your entire DoorLoop system, meant to be quick and help you find things quickly. That is huge, not just for an independent owner who is looking for just, a second set of eyes on some of these things, but also a property manager managing hundreds of units who, has lots of things on their plate, and this will simplify that for you. This is going to be available both on your mobile device and, of course, on your desktop here, like how I have it. This is amazing, and I'm really excited to see what all of you guys start messaging with the AI and bringing us to us really cool use cases like this customer that asked me what's the late fee policy in California. So pretty neat stuff. I wish I had something like this back in 2017, 2018 when I was doing student housing. Would have definitely made my life a little bit easier and brought some good structure to my day when I really was running around like a chicken with its head cut off. So this was a great feature there. Cool. Ready for the next one? The next one is probably one of my favorites. Now, we all have, and you can probably think of one or two tenants who are constantly nagging you, texting you, calling you, emailing you about some of the most little things. I'll give you a second to think about that one tenant or that two tenants, those two tenants who give you that hard time. This next feature is meant for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in to a tenant portal. And so I'm going to go over to one of my tenants here that I use for this. His name's Kevin. And Kevin is one of those tenants who constantly, texts me, calls me, right? If you don't have a system or if you do have DoorLoop today and you're not using the AI, you're probably getting a lot of tenant requests. You're getting notified through the system, keeping all that history. Let's show you this new feature that I think you'll really appreciate if you have that one tenant in mind. It's DoorLoop's new AI tenant assistant. This is meant to eliminate all of the little things that come across your desks. Questions about leases, start dates, end dates, rental amounts. Little things like, hey, my light bulb isn't working. Or, hey, the sink is leaking. Did the tenant even try to go and maybe, give it turn the light bulb and magically got it to work again, right? Maybe it's just poor connection. This is what the AI agent will do. It's going to remove about 50% of the back and forth between you and your tenants. How? One, it's going to have availability into your lease that you put in. So for example, you're going to put in the start date, the end date, the rental amount, the deposits. All of that information, if the tenant has any lease questions, it'll tell them. It'll also help them with maintenance. So let's dive deep here. One, we can just pick a quick topic. Hey, I've got some maintenance help. I need to have questions about my payments and billing, or I need lease info and guidance. So these are your quick help here, with maintenance help probably being the biggest one. But they can also type in their own question. So as an example, let's type in here, my light bulb isn't working. And so the tenant will type in here with the AI agent. This AI agent, by the way, will be available 24/7. It's going to be, think of it as a concierge, your own individual concierge for all of your tenants. And it's going to troubleshoot with the tenants back and forth to prevent little things that the tenant could have easily solved from getting to your desk. So in this case, hey, let's help you fix that light bulb. Have you tried to see if it's securely screwed in? Is the light bulb burned out? Right? And so this back and forth will allow those little things that previously went straight to your phone, straight into your text messages, straight into your email. It's now being handled by the AI assistant. And so as a tenant goes back and forth with the assistant, hey, you know what? It's still not working. We'll just type in here. Then the AI assistant will actually prompt open the ability for the tenant to submit a maintenance request. And so if you've already done all these things and I need to create a tenant request, nope, I still need help. And so it'll then create that tenant request for you, which is really, really helpful. Tenants will be able to upload pictures, videos, so that you have that information on the back end as well. And so it'll tell me, hey, before I submit, here's what I need from you. So it'll be really great because the tenants get on-demand assistance from the AI assistant. And you will be seeing a lot less of these little things, right? And I know right now we mainly focused on the maintenance side, but what if a tenant has a quick question about like their lease, right? How much are you currently holding in deposits, right? How much am I expected to potentially, if the apartment is pristine, how much am I expected to get back after my lease is over? And so the system, the AI assistant will actually take information from what you've put in, start dates, end dates, deposits, and it'll keep that here. Really easy, and also provide the tenant with some additional help. It's really great. I know we've only focused, of course, on maintenance help and lease info, but payments and billing as well. Hey, when was my last payment? When's my next charge going to be? Things like that, it's almost like rent changes every month. It'll tell them, hey, you have auto pay right now. Hey, your auto pay is on a monthly basis. So little things that could be easily taken care of are now no longer part of your day-to-day. This is by far probably the most helpful AI feature, in my opinion, considering I did student housing and students have a tough time, screwing in a light bulb or tightening up a pipe under the sink. So this is really, really great. Remember, this will be available for your tenants on the tenant portal, either via mobile app or, of course, through the desktop, like how I have here. Cool stuff. Of course, all tenant requests, when they do get submitted, if it does get through from the AI, you will see it here in your dashboard like we spoke about. Cool? Awesome. So we've covered the AI assistant, both for you here on your end as your own personal assistant, and we've covered it on the tenant side so that it can help you maybe keep some things off your plate. Let's talk about how it can help you on the back end of stuff with accounting and all of that jazz. Let's start first with our AI invoice manager. And so when you create a bill or an expense in DoorLoop, traditionally you have to go in, put the payee, put the reference number, the account, all that stuff that you see here. Now with the AI expense capture, you'll be able to simply upload that invoice. And so I'm just going to upload an invoice here. And what the AI will do is it'll take a look at that invoice. And sometimes you get, in the invoice that I uploaded here, you'll see in a second, has a number of different line items. And it's going to, almost like magic, read through the invoice and automatically fill in the description. So as you can see here, LED light bulbs, electrical, cables, right? Everything that has been billed here, and the dollar amount's already there. Along with, of course, the invoice number here up at the top. The only things you will need to do here is select which vendor it's for, which account are you paying out of, and then the property in the category. So which property is this for? This one here is for Española Way. This one here is for B Street, right? And so you can do it that way. This is fantastic because it's going to save you tons of time inputting maybe long invoices, right? Especially for some of us that have running tabs with the vendor or the contractor, right? At the end of the month, they'll kind of give you everything that you owe for that month, right? This will be really easy breaking down every single one of those transactions that you had with them. Really neat stuff. Meant to save you tons of time. And I can think of one or two customers that I've worked with now that will save a lot of time during month end, books closing and all of that. Awesome. Now, when these bills are in there, the tenants are paying rent online through the portal and all that. You want to make sure that your reports are, shipshape. Another piece of the AI that this will be great for is our report insights. This is huge. This is meant for you, who might not be a bookkeeper, an accountant, give you some of really valuable and actionable insights into what's going on around your properties based on the accounting reports that we see. So the actionable insights are going to be available for balance sheet, cash flow, and profit and loss, and among others. And let's dive straight in so you can see it. So when I open up a profit and loss, first things first, all of our reports look like this, right? You'll be able to customize the date. You'll be able to customize and group it by property. And so what I'll do here, let me just change the date here to last year. I've got some good examples here last year. And I'm just going to type in, hey, give me some AI insights. And what the system is doing, based on the filters that you've chosen, based on the groupings and all those things, the AI is reading through your report. And it's looking for ways for you to either capitalize on additional revenue opportunities or minimize cost. And so, for some of us, we have tons of financial data. How do we make sure we stay on top of it all? This will do that for you. With the AI insights, it's going to tell you your expense ratio, right? How much are you spending versus how much you're receiving here. This is the profit and loss, rather. Your revenue growth. And my favorite is the actionable insights here. Hey, control costs. It looks like your utility and insurance expenses are some of the largest cost drivers. Well, maybe go if you're an individual property owner. Hey, maybe it's time to go and renegotiate that insurance policy. Or even better, if you are a property manager managing for other clients, imagine the value add that you will give to your clients, other property owners. If you say, hey, I've been looking through some of the reports I've been sending you on a monthly basis, and I've noticed that, maintenance and repair expenses are currently $32,000. I recommend we maybe renovate this so that we don't have to keep spending additional money on maintenance, right? Imagine being a property owner and receiving that feedback from the property manager, actually showing that they care. So this is great, especially for individual owners who might not want to pay for a bookkeeper, but this will just give you quick insights. Hey, this is what I'm seeing in your books. Again, these are just recommendations, but really good stuff from what the AI will read based on your reports that you put in here. Cool. Remember, this is also available if you want to for those property managers who are managing for others. This will be available for the owners as well in the owner portal. You can choose to toggle it on or off. The choice is yours. Amazing. Awesome. So that's pretty much it on the accounting side of things, right? So just to recap, we've discussed it on the tenant side, your side with the AI assistant. We looked at it from a input of your bills and expenses, and of course on the books themselves. Two things that we're going to talk still here are two big ones. I think that this is more for just your brain power. It's going to help you just, do easy tasks quicker and more efficiently. Let's go right into those. The first one is the communications center. So remember with DoorLoop, you do have the ability to generate your own phone number. We give you a phone number and you'll be able to text back tenants, vendors, owners from within DoorLoop. It's great because you don't have to give away your personal number and all of your communication stays here just in case you ever need to go back to it. What I love about this feature is, like I said, it's just more for brain power. So let's say, for example, one, I want to quickly remind this tenant I got an automatic reminder from the system on October 2nd that, hey, your rent is late. I can just go in here and click help me write. The system is going to generate a message based on the previous message here. If you guys were having a dialogue back and forth, it will take that into account. But in this case, it's just taking that last message here that was sent by the system, and it's recommending you a couple of them for you to go in. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in this middle one, and it'll tell me exactly what to write. Hey, Jordan, wanted to check in regarding your rent payment for 10/1. The balance is currently $40,000. Pretty bad tenant there. But the idea is that it can generate the message automatically for you just so you don't have to think about it. That's number one. Really great, meant to simplify just those little tasks, and you have options, right, between how you want the AI to sound. I'm going to click undo here. And let's say if we scroll up here, right, my initial message with this tenant was, hey, are you available at 10:30 for us for a plumber or the sink to get fixed? What I can type in here is sink will be fixed at 10:30, right? And maybe that's what you're thinking, but now you want the AI to just take this and, make it a little bit better so your tenant feels a little bit more warm and fuzzy inside. And so when we hit improve text, I can say, you know what? This sink will be fixed at 10:30. Let's make it a little bit friendlier. Add a little bit more pizzazz into it so the tenants feel a little bit better. Hey, we want to let you know that the sink will be repaired at 10:30. Please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions or need further assistance. So really easy things. You'll be able to choose the tone, right? Do you want it shorter, friendly, or professional? If you haven't known already, my go-to tone is the friendly one. And so I'll just click insert and hit send. Again, really simple. And this is great just to, minimize the amount of thinking we have to do for some of these tenants and vendors and owners alike. Cool stuff. Meant to be really easy. And again, DoorLoop's Communication Center will help you keep everything under one roof. Amazing. Last but not least, what I want to go over with you guys will help you get those properties listed and rented faster if, of course, they are vacant. So with DoorLoop's listings, remember we do go out to a lot of these listing sites, Zillow, Dwellsy, Zumper, Rental Source. We've got some other ones as well that we can look through, like apartments.com, all of that great stuff. And so, as you go through the listing, let me just choose a random one here, and let's go list this unit. What I'll do is I'll upload a property photo that I have here ready to go. And let me select some of these things. We'll do accent walls. It has a guest room. It has a sauna, a spa. It has lake access. We'll do also, there's a tennis court, wherever you'd like here. These are things that will be filters in those listing websites so people can find out easier. Great. These are the home amenities. So let's say that, of course, we've got cable. We've got a great view. We've got a kitchen island. We've got a private patio, refrigerator, large closets, and let's say it has a dishwasher. Great. I'll put in here the date as available is going to be November 1st. The listing contact will be myself, and the asking rent here is going to be $2,500. Deposit $500, and we'll hit next. This is where the AI kicks in. It takes all of those things that we put together, right? The dishwasher, the view, the AC, all of those things, and it'll generate a really nice description based on those things we said, plus the property address and what's around there. And so here the AI, and again, I'm not a marketer. I don't know if you guys are marketers, but this is just meant to, give our current descriptions a revamp while also putting and utilizing DoorLoop's marketing team, which helped build this AI bot, in order to generate additional listings and traction for your properties. And so experience luxury living at 295 North Rodeo Drive, stunning 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home in the Beverly Hills neighborhood, right? That's pulling from the address that I had in here as well. Takes the square footage of the home with a private patio, refrigerator, large closets. It's just a really great description that will, give some life to some of these descriptions that we utilize and reuse month over month over month. And so that is absolutely something that will be done there. Or if you don't want to use this, no problem. Go ahead, write your own, and just click generate with AI. And so it's going to help you give a little bit of life into those. Amazing. Awesome. This has been really fun. To recap, we've covered the AI assistant here for you, which will work with you and highlight some of the most important things while also giving you some good ideas of what you should do as a property owner, manager, etc. We've also discussed the tenant agent aimed at limiting the number of requests that come in through to your desk every day. I've seen from some of our beta users about 50% less tenant requests are coming through on their side. We've talked about the quick bill, right? Where you can quickly put in your invoices and have the system read the description, the dollar amount, the invoice number up at the top to make that invoice a little bit easier. We've also discussed the report insights, balance sheets, cash flows, profit and loss. What are the big takeaways that we should, when going through a lot of large sets of data and information here from your reports? It'll give you some really good actionable insights. Fifth, we talked about the communication center, easily drafting those messages so you don't even have to give it a second thought. And then last but not least, our AI listings creation there, where we can have really nice descriptions strictly for getting those rented out.
You start asking your questions.
Okay, we're going to open it up now for the live Q&A where you can start asking your questions.
There.
On the bottom right of your screen,
I'll be right
please
back
click
in a
the
few
questions
seconds, as I'm
icon
gonna stop
and
screen
submit your
sharing for a
questions
minute.
there so we can answer them. I'll be right back in a few seconds as I'm going to stop screen sharing for a minute. All right, everybody. I was reading through your questions and I absolutely love them. So I'm going to give some time for some of us to go in and start asking some. In the meantime, we do have some great ones there already. So let's jump straight on in. I'm going to take one of these. How does the tenant AI interact with tenant requests, vendors, etc.? All right. So this is a great question. We'll use this one first. The tenant AI is going to be a feature inside of the tenant portal for the tenants to go in and submit maintenance requests. You guys have the option to still allow open requests. I saw some of the questions in there. What if the tenant just clicks submit a new request? You can choose to have this on or off. So for example, if you do want to have the tenants go strictly through the AI agent, great. You turn off the ability for them to submit the regular maintenance requests. However, if you are open to them doing both, you can have both of those options. So just to make sure I answer here, there is no vendor interaction at this time. Remember, this is just V1. You guys have some fantastic questions that will keep improving this, but this is, our first introduction of the AI agent in DoorLoop. So no vendors just yet, with the exception of the communications option where you can draft the message and things like that. But right now, for the AI agent in the tenant portal, just tenants to you. Cool? Awesome. Awesome. Great questions there. I'm going through and I love that they're coming in. So let's keep going through it. Douglas asks here, you know what? I'm actually going to start from the bottom. Frankie back in the beginning. I think we did answer those already. So let me scroll through. We'll go with Brittany's question. Is this the only way they can use the AI through the chat? What if they put in a maintenance request instead? Does it pull in AI? So we're still on the topic of the AI Tenant Concierge. They will do it through the chat in their tenant portal. They can still put in their maintenance request. At that point, it will not pull in AI. If you're a current DoorLoop user, you probably know already how the tenant request works. So we still have that as an option. But if you do want the AI, it's through that little chat box. There is also a prompt where if they click submit a new request, they'll have two options: submit it with AI or just submit a traditional request if you've allowed that as a property owner or property manager. Great question, Brittany. Awesome. Let's go to the next one. I see here we have RS, a couple of questions here. Is there a training video that we can send to tenants? That's the first one. And number two, is there a way to upload a spreadsheet of expenses and have AI create the expenses in the system? Great question. So to answer the first one, we do have some great material there that we can provide for your tenants, not just on the AI, but also on how to set up those online payments, how to submit regular traditional maintenance requests. I'm sure that our team is working on some additional items to support tenants for submitting those AI options. Great question there. The second question here, is there a way to upload the spreadsheet of expenses and have the AI create the expenses in the system? So we talked about the uploading the expenses, that it automatically takes the amount and takes the option there when you create a new expense or create a new bill. There, it is just an invoice. However, I do know that we'll be expanding that. I know that there was another great question about receipts as well. So we do plan on V1 or V2, V3 to bring in some additional options there for you to make it easy. Right now, that feature is just invoices. However, I never want to say that it doesn't work, especially with the DoorLoop AI assistant. We have a lot of customers going into the main AI assistant, uploading a spreadsheet and saying, hey, create these expenses. And it might give you back some really cool things, and it might work for you. We really, I've learned a lot speaking with customers on the new AI feature, and I seem to learn something new every single day. So in the invoice reader, not just yet for number two of that question. But again, V1 is right now, V2, V3 will be coming out shortly. Great question there, RS. I'm going through here. I think, Lynn, is there an opportunity to customize responses based on our specific leases and directions? So this is a great answer, right? We want to make sure that we control some of those there. When we have the AI agent for the tenants, it's going to take lease information, for example, the start date, the end date, and those things are going to be pretty concrete. I know some people ask questions about hallucinations and all of that. And so in this case, when the tenant is using the AI agent for the lease questions, it's taking that information, which is what you put in the platform. At this time, though, not necessarily any sort of tweaks that you can make. But again, please feel free as you guys are experiencing these things during your day-to-day. Talk to our team. We want to make sure we improve this. We want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this. Remember, with every chat, especially with the tenant, it will say at the bottom that the AI can make mistakes. And so there is always that disclaimer there for them. But again, just like ChatGPT or any other ones that we use today, we're prepared for those. But again, as we continue these future iterations, we do plan on expanding that a little bit and give you guys a lot more control there. Great question there, Lynn. Let's keep it going. I know we've got a lot. Pricing, Erica. Great question. So really quick, I'll put in here. It really depends on what plan you're in. So we offer it both today on the Pro and our Premium plans. Okay. It really comes out to, if you're in the first 1 through 20 units, which a lot of our customers are, it's going to be anywhere between $20 to $30 a month. And it's about basically less than $1 a day there. It really depends on that. For some of the larger clients, it will be about 10 to 20% of your subscription on a monthly basis. Again, we do want to make sure that this will be good for you guys. And a lot of our customers do see tons of I actually had a customer just about a week or so back who used the report insights and they caught a duplicate of a landscaping fee, and they ended up actually catching that. The AI caught it since they had an extensive report, and it saved them about $250 at the end of the year, which paid for the AI just on that one use case. So really, really good there. But definitely talk to either your account manager if you are in a current existing customer. And I believe I've got Bar, who is one of our sales reps here on the chat, and she can connect with you directly for that. Awesome. Great question. Let's go to Luke. For the premium subscription, does the AI cost credits like SMS or is incorporated into the monthly fee? Great question there, Luke. It doesn't cost anything else in terms of like the conversations or per use. It's nothing like that. It's just a flat fee added on top of your subscription there. Great question. Cool. Will the AI help with transactions list report? Great question. I actually haven't dug too deep into that. I can have some of my team members look into that and let us know if in the transactions list it pulls the AI insights. I know cash flow, profit and loss, balance sheet, those are the three big ones. But of course, definitely something that we can potentially add in if it's not there already. So Douglas, I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you just yet, but I'll work on it and I'll make sure that we get back to you on that. Great questions. I love this. Lynn, great question again. Let's see here. Our tenants just signed a new lease and it is in filled and agreements, but I need to download it, continue. Don't know if that's a question there. I'm going to skip it for now, but if you want to rephrase it, I'll get to it. Additional fee, I definitely answered that already. This is too basic. When you introduce it. Oh, yeah, great question. So yes, again, this is V1 for Carolyn there. We do have an additional set of features that we'll be rolling out. And again, this is the first time that DoorLoop is launching the AI. It's pretty exciting. And for a lot of customers, it meets a lot of needs. If you do have some more specific things, definitely give us that feedback. We want to build on it. We want to expand it. And we want it to make it really, really helpful for everybody. So great point there, Carolyn. AI features, Margarita, you asked about the pricing there. And so is there a way to remove our interaction with DoorLoop for invoices? We'll talk about that. Let me see here. Yeah, Eli, great question there. Are there future plans to have the AI train, to have the customer train the AI? And, this is a great question. It's something that I kind of touched on. At this point, we don't have it just yet. But in the future, I definitely see us having a lot of capabilities and going in and training the AI and providing some additional context that matters to you specifically. This is a fantastic question and one that I've gotten a couple of times as well. So this is great. And this is what we love to do. We love to build. We build a V1. We then improve it and make it better to make it more applicable for everybody, right? We want to, let the tenant know that, hey, you are in charge of your own light bulbs. Remember, in the tenant requests, a little bit of a side note, regular traditional tenant requests, you do have the ability on the top of that tenant request to include directions. So if, for example, this is a requirement for you, you can always include that as well before they submit a request. But this is a great point. And to your initial question, absolutely, we do have plans to do this. Our product team is fantastic, and it is listening to your side there. So let's go here. What else we've got? Can the AI automate any tasks? A tenant request coming through and be auto converted to a work order for maintenance. So great point here. It will, what the AI will do is we'll troubleshoot with the tenant first. If it can't get to a resolution, then it's going to create that tenant request. Now, at that point, it becomes a tenant request just like how you handle it today. It gets assigned to the specific person in DoorLoop that you've assigned tenant requests to. From then, you can submit that into a work order. There is no automation at this point to take it from a tenant request to a work order because we do want you to have control over what becomes a work order. And so tenants will submit the request. You then can then transition that tenant request into a work order. Great question. Love that. Do we get notified of the questions and answers being asked by the tenants? Great question here, Brittany. So the idea behind this is if the AI handles the request, it is not something that you're even going to get notified of. Now, I recognize a lot of us do want to get in the loop of this. So that is something that potentially we will show you how many, what conversations and what requests we've actually eliminated from your desk entirely. And so that is something that we could roll out in the near future releases. But at this point, if the AI does handle the request, I don't believe you get notified of that. There is going to be a tracker that's going to show you exactly how much like we've taken off your plate. But I do recognize if you want to go back into the historicals, it absolutely makes sense. We have some product team members on the webinar today as well who will be taking a lot of this feedback and questions for us to be able to improve. So I love this, Brittany. Great point. From your experience, should we keep both options open, regular request? Honestly, I recommend you just go AI. Go AI, because a lot of these requests, and you might know better than I do, specifically for you, I mean, you might get some requests that shouldn't even be requests in the first place. So my recommendation is have the AI handle most of those. And from what we've seen, about 50% of like communication, whether it's requests, lease questions, or whatnot, will actually be completely wiped away from your desk, and have the AI take care of those. And so my recommendation, have the AI. If the tenants don't get it resolved, it'll go automatically into a tenant request for you, just like the traditional route. So I see no harm in having the AI first try to troubleshoot with the tenant, having that extra layer before it gets to your desk. Cool. Great question there, Amin. Lynn asks, so tenant AI is completely separate from tenant requests, and if they start with AI, it will roll into a tenant request if needed. Bingo. Exactly right. Great point, Lynn. So this is it. To AI first, and then into a request if the AI can't handle it. If we haven't gotten the, hey, you know what? I've tightened the light bulb, it's fixed. The tenant can say, hey, this is fixed. And so that point is absolutely right. Let me see here. What enhancements you have planned over the next 6 months? So Jay, great question here. What do we have planned over the next 6 months? This is really new for us. We've rolled this out just this month. It's about 16 days in production. So I don't have the roadmap for the next 6 months, but because we have this webinar, because we have your feedback, this stuff will impact what goes on over these next few months on this specific AI feature. And so, I don't have exactly what that will be, but I love that you are probably a lot of the stuff that you're seeing here in the chat will go into our feedback loop for us to be able to push that out into you guys. Because again, this is why we release it, and this is why we need you guys to keep providing the feedback. So I don't have a 6-month roadmap just yet. We can work on that and potentially share some updates over to you guys. But I love that you guys are very vocal about what should be coming up next. So great point there, Jay. Let me see here. I'm going to go through some of these. Also, the tenant request should include triage and troubleshooting, not just when they chat. Yeah, we do have a back and forth chat on the traditional tenant request. We can show you that if you'd like, where the tenant can submit a request, give you guys some, it'll pop up that update for you, and then you can communicate back and forth. Cool. What else we've got here? I love it. Keep the questions coming. I'm going to go to Hernan's question here. So not just yet. The question here is, if I go to accounting and transactions, can AI grab a batch of transactions and assign the transactions to a specific owner with an assigned expense like HOA or repair? So we haven't done a lot of, outside of the report insights and the invoice upload, there isn't too deep of AI into like the accounting piece, but I do encourage you to go into the AI assistant and go through some of these things, because that AI assistant actually works with the DoorLoop backend. So you might be able to, even though I'm not giving you the best answer right now, you might be able to play around. You'd be surprised with what it can do on the backend, given that, a lot of customers have, sent out announcements through the system via the AI. It's not something that we've, rolled out and built, but because the AI works with the DoorLoop system, it could create a lot of these tasks for you, which are quite nice. I'm going to keep going through some of these. Oh my God, I've got my team answering all these questions as well, which is great. Let's go with this. Can this or anything else break down how much rent has been paid of the month from the tenants? Not total rent paid, because it could be from the previous month, but needing rent for current month. So my recommendation on this would be for you to run a transactions report, and you can just pull that, save it, and have it bookmarked on your tabs. But what you could do is potentially ask the AI assistant from your homepage to highlight all of the rent that has been paid from transactions this month. You might have that broken down But it really just depends on how you guys track your accounting. Some of us do it on a like monthly basis, and if you have some tenants that are overdue, that will roll over from previous months. But great question here. Love that. Good stuff done. Any ability to respond to leads follow up? Great question. So far, not just yet. This portion of the CRM, we do only have like the applications and the leasing and all of those, but no communications at this time with leads and follow up, especially with the AI just yet. Good question, Eric. Let's see. Amin asks, in the future, will we be able to introduce and to schedule appointments? That could absolutely be a release at this point. I don't believe it's on the roadmap, but I know it's important for a lot of customers who are, dealing with a lot of leads, a lot of tours, so on and so forth. Let's see. Let me see here what other questions we've got. I'm jumping through. All these questions are coming in so fast. Let's see. Let me see here. I'm looking through. We'll take this one. Does help me write work in the post update section of tasks and other areas where our updates are customer facing? I love this question. So actually, right now it is only in the communications center, but this is a fantastic way to incorporate what we already have in one area of the system into others. And so I love this question. And Jay, this is absolutely fantastic. This I want to highlight for some of our product members. I think this will be great, especially in the task updates and things like that. So really, really good stuff. I appreciate this. At this time, the short answer is not yet, but because you've asked this in front of 227 people and a lot of our team members, I don't doubt that it's on the radar. So I appreciate you doing that, Jay. Really, really do. Let's see. Got some other ones. We've got a lot of questions on tours and scheduling at this point, not just yet, but again, something that if we hear enough of, we will be rolling out. What can you share about the current roadmap? I actually, it's all part of the roadmap is determined with our sales team, with our support team, our success teams, and so we're actually working on that. And a lot of what we're discussing today will play a role. But at this time, not something that I can share just yet. I'm probably just as excited as you are for these to come into production. I wish I could, but I probably wouldn't be doing the next webinar if I shared with you a lot of this stuff. So I love that question there, Ethan. Let me see what else. I think we've got a really good number of questions got answered by me. A lot of good questions got answered by my team here on the chat. Let me see. Maybe I'm missing a couple of this. I noticed, this was something that I listened to while you guys were asking in the chat. You asked about Spanish, French. What's really nice is however the tenant agent or however the tenant begins the conversation with the AI agent, it'll actually continue that conversation in that specific language. Now, it's just something that we didn't intend to, but the AI works very well with that. Now, what we do want to do is make sure that it does translate over to English for our property managers. And so that's something that we need to test out and work. But I will tell you, I've had a conversation with a tenant where the tenant actually spoke with the AI. We have lots of different nationalities here in the office. We did it in Portuguese, in Spanish, and French, and the AI was actually able to handle all of those. So it was great to see, but we want to make sure that when we get it to your desk, it's fully in the language that, of course, you prefer. And so that's a great question there. I'm going through a lot of these questions, so just give me a minute here. Let me pick some of these. I know we look like appointment tabs. Tony asked, let's see here. I'll do this. It looks like the AI is using data to create a lease abstract to answer tenant questions. Can the data extracted include specific commercial terms or strictly residential? Will this be helpful to commercial businesses? Great question here, Tony. So first and foremost, it's not taking the actual lease data that you upload. It's taking the start date, the end date, the rental amount, those things that you actually type into the DoorLoop system. And so at this point, not just yet, I do see a lot of value for commercial businesses to utilize some of this stuff. A lot of our customer base is commercial, most residential, but a big chunk of it commercial as well. But at this point, focus on a tenant interaction on the lease information from like start dates, end dates, deposits, so on and so forth. I know it's probably not the answer you'd like, but something that we definitely will take into account as we continue to expand into commercial and all that. Cool. Let's see what else we've got. We got a few more questions. Let's see here. So Augusto asks if tenants pay rent through Venmo, Zelle, checks, other means out of the system, we can track those. Absolutely, you can. You can just go in the platform on your app or on your computer and just say that, hey, this person has paid their rent, and you're good to go. Your responsibility at that point is just to make sure you deposit those funds into your bank account to make sure your books match. But absolutely, with tons of customers going this route as well. I think someone asked here, a trial period. So I would encourage, Tara asked about a trial period here. Please book calls with our team. We want to make sure that we showcase you what it looks like in real time and even give you screen access or like mouse access so you can play around with it with us and ask some questions. At this point, there is no trial period. There just isn't a trial period with DoorLoop just yet. But great question. But do approach us. We want to help you. We want to make sure we answer those questions for you there. Cool. Let's see. Is there a fee, Lynn? Absolutely. We touched on it a little bit, but basically it's going to be anywhere, if you have 1 through 20 units, anywhere from $20 to $30 extra a month. It's about $2, $1.50 a day. And it's really meant to take a lot of this, all of the day-to-day tasks and a lot of these things that get hit on your desk to help with that. So you're looking at about anywhere from 10 to 20% of your plan, depending on whether you are in the pro or premium, respectively. Great question there, Lynn. Cool. Looks like questions are slowing down here. Actually, Ethan had a great question. Will pricing change for AI as you roll out new versions? So ultimately, I don't have an answer for that. I don't have. I'm not involved in that process. What we always try to do is make it really reasonable for you guys, where you guys are getting the value for it, right? And for an extra $20-$30, right, 10 to 20%, it's meant to pay itself off, and it's meant to be a no-brainer. Of course, we value your feedback. If you ever feel like that is a little bit unreasonable, talk to us. But again, we meant it and we rolled it out so that it is something that's very, very affordable, meant to save you tons of time, brain power, and eliminate some of these mundane tasks that you do. So definitely keep us posted. But at this point, don't have the information on that just yet. But I appreciate you asking, Ethan. Let's see what else we've got. Someone asked here, how can I activate the AI on DoorLoop, or is it available on my platform? So the best thing that you could do here, and I think Sahil is actually helping you answer that question right there in the chat. But ultimately, what you should do if you're a current customer, just chat in on the bottom right, and you'll be able to speak with our team members directly. If you are not a current customer, I think Bar, one of my sales reps, is going to be here to help you get the right conversation with the right person on the call here. So absolutely, we want to make sure that we can give you as much information on that as possible. So let's see here. We've got a couple more questions. How can we get access to all AI tools? Frankly, just again, chat with on the bottom right, talk to our team members. We'll be able to give you that access so that you guys can start utilizing it. And of course, we want to make sure that it is just a one-time fee, whether you pay annual or monthly along with your month, but you have a one amount that you pay and you get all the features there. So no little nickel and diming there. Cool. Let's see here. Carolyn has another good question. Let me pull it up here so everybody can see it. I'm currently using an AI provider that does maintenance coordination and handles the full process from tenant request to vendor coordination to collecting invoice to closing the work order and ensuring tenant satisfaction. Is this in the works for DoorLoop? So this is a full-on kind of maintenance life cycle. This is great. Currently today, it's not something that we offer now, but looks like this is specifically, they specialize in this, right? Remember, DoorLoop is a full-on property management system with accounting and rent collection and applications and leasing. And so this is really good. We would love to have it all in-house. Of course, this is, it seems very in-depth. Absolutely not ruling it out. This will be part of our conversation as we continue to develop the roadmap for this quarter, Q4, and of course, beginning of 2026. So love this question, Carolyn. Sounds like a really good tool there, and maybe we'll get some inspiration from them. But this is awesome, and hopefully the eventually where we get to will include all of that in-house. What else we've got here? Let's see what we've got. Jay brought up here another great point, Jay. It would be great if everyone, tenants and owners and PMs, can see the communication history. Great feedback. Absolutely something that we will be having conversations of internally, because yes, I definitely think it's valuable for the property manager to know what's been going on, even though it actually doesn't require any sort of action on their side. So big kudos to you for bringing that up. Something that I thought about as well when we rolled this out. Again, V1 is what we've rolled out just a couple weeks back. We will be having more and more versions and improvements to this to give you guys more flexibility, improvement, so on and so forth. Good question, Jay. Love your questions. Augusto, you should be looking at in terms of pricing. You should be looking at about $20 to $30 extra a month. Really not that crazy depending on the plan that you go with. And it's meant to give you that back and more than having without it. You might get some additional reporting insights that you don't get today. You might have a little bit of less tasks and maintenance and management on your desk. So that will give you some time back. But anywhere between $20 to $30 for this specific unit size there. Talk to your account manager on the bottom right of your DoorLoop chat and bring up the AI, and we can definitely set you up there as well. Cool. So we've only got a few more minutes left. I have Lynn here says, I have AI showing to ask questions. Please just on the bottom right of your DoorLoop screen, make sure that we get all questions like this, account specific questions clarified. We'll be able to assist and tell you exactly if you have it, if you don't have it. Of course, if you don't have it, you're not getting charged for it. And then if you do have it, we want to make sure that you know exactly what comes with it and how you can leverage it to just improve your day-to-day, month-to-month, so on and so forth. Awesome. Jesus, can the AI assistant help find redundancy in the charges posted for the tenant? For example, duplicated late fees. So, great point. This is probably something that the AI assistant, if you on your DoorLoop menu, you go to the top left, you have the AI assistant. You could ask a question along the lines of, hey, pull me all of my lease transactions and see if there's any duplicates. This is something that I would encourage you to try it out for yourself. Because again, there's a lot of opportunity for you to kind of play around with and get those insights. So I don't have the exact answer to this. There's not a specific feature for this, if that's kind of where your question is aligned to. But if you use our AI assistant, I'm learning something new every day because customers and potential prospects bring up these ideas, and we test it out and it works. And so that California example, the late fee, it was a new customer. He had just bought the property and he goes, can you guys give me insights into what I should be charging as a late fee in California? And so we just tested it out and it gave us the insight and the feedback. And so, it really is what you make of it. So great question there, Jesus, and definitely try it out and let us know. Awesome. I think the questions have slowed down a bit. We still have a good amount of people here. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. It's always cool when we release new features. It's exciting. And, I think that at the end of the day, as we continue to roll out improvements, updates, this is a pretty special feature. It's pretty cool. It's new for a lot of property managers, and it really is a tool for you guys to improve the day-to-day, month-to-month, and provide value if you guys are managing for others, provide value for those clients. And so I've had a ton of fun today. I love your questions. I loved hearing about what you guys have to say about the AI, and I'm excited for the next one. And potentially we'll have one soon with some new features or maybe a new guest in the webinar. But I appreciate all 189 of you guys sticking around for now. And we had I think about 300 people in this session. So you guys were all very, very communicative, very speaking a lot, voicing your opinions, your minds, and that's what we want to hear. So I appreciate you guys all taking the time. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. I know I'm a little bit 1 day short, but have a great rest of your day, and happy you guys were able to join us. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.